Hi folks, welcome to another episode of This Week in Ferrum Baseball. I'm your host Gary Holden, Sports Information Director and Assistant AD. With me is head baseball coach Ryan Brittle. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Gary. Could be better though.
You got your game face on. It is. You're in the season now.
Yes.
You guys opened last weekend. You had that 3-game series, a little bit of an unorthodox series where you go out to Hampden-Sydney for 1 game, come back here and play 2, and I know you guys flip-flopped that last year and everything. Talk a little bit about that first game. You guys winning 3-2 in 15 innings. I mean, it must have just been freezing cold by the end of the day.
It was cold. It was long. Everybody was tired, but we were fortunate enough come out on top, and got a big hit from Lane Deaver late in the game, and were able to pull out a 3-2 victory. And we really had we found out a lot about our club, I think, in that day, and we had a bunch of guys on the mound that did a fantastic job. Jake Perkins started.
Yep. Through 4 innings.
4 innings. Didn't give up any runs. Walked 1. Hunter Peck came in, who's a freshman lefty from down in Southampton High School in Eastern Virginia, and threw really well. Threw a 3 1/3, and we threw Matt Wilder. He pitched well, but gave up a run. Blake Odie actually came in and threw the ball well. He threw the end of the 8th and the 9th inning. In the 9th, we had 2 outs. Blake threw a fastball first pitch to the 3rd hitter of the inning, and he ran it out of the yard. His first home run of his life.
Really?
I think
Wow.
so, yeah.
Wow. And that sent it into extra innings.
So that sent it into extra innings, and we're both, early in the season, the pitching's always better than the hitting early on.
Sure.
Hitters haven't caught up yet, so it was a struggle to score runs, and we ended up in the top of the 15th, scored 1.
Talk a little bit about how that run. I think it was Clay Massey that scored the game-winning run for you. He got on.
Clay got on. Don't remember how. Ended up with runners on first and second. As Clay got on, Jake Martin, I may have hit a double. Comer walked, I believe, to load the bases with nobody out.
Okay.
Lane came up, first pitch fastball, and he hammered it right over the second baseman's head, and we scored a run. In fact, it was hit so hard and so low to the ground, it just barely ticked off the top of the second baseman's glove. So Jake Martin was at second base and had to hold up. He had to freeze on a line drive in case the second baseman caught it, so he wouldn't get doubled up, and that's why he didn't score on the play.
Because normally on that play you would have probably scored from second.
Correct. And we ended up, I think we struck out, popped up, or hit into a double play or something like that. At the end of the inning, we only scored 1. We had bases loaded, nobody out, and only scored 1. So
But more importantly, you held him in the bottom of the 15th.
we did. In the bottom of the 15th, Lorenzo Allensworth pitched really well. He pitched the last 2 2/3 innings, I think, and pitched well.
He earned the win.
He earned the win, and,
Yep.
and good for him.
Yeah. How long was the game?
It was over 4 hours long.
That's got to be a long time.
It was a long game.
And you come back the next day and you play another game in extra innings, but it was a 7-inning. You had 2 scheduled 7-inning games, so it went 7 innings and then 8 innings. So basically, you played 2 games, on Saturday and on
2
Sunday.
double
basically.
headers.
Yeah.
The funny thing about the first game, my brother came to the game and he didn't get to leave early enough to get there by the beginning of the game. So he shows up in the 5th inning and he's like, "Well, at least I'm going to get to see 3 or 4 innings of baseball." And 2.5 hours later, he gets to see 10 innings of baseball.
You got to see a full game
So,
plus some, huh?
It was quite a weekend, a marathon weekend, really. The doubleheader, the first game of the doubleheader went 7. Our bats were completely silent.
Yeah, 2 base hits that
Got
day.
2 hits the first game. Second game ended up going extra innings. So we played 30 innings on the weekend.
Yeah.
A normal conference weekend for us, 3 9-inning games, is only 27 innings.
That's exactly what I was equating this to. It's like, your 3 9-inning games and everything. There's 27 innings, and this was like basically opening up. So I guess it's going to get you ready a little bit for a conference
Well,
play.
I hope so. Hopefully the hitting comes around a little bit, which
Yeah.
there's no hope. Hope is not a plan. So we've been hitting in the cage a bunch this week since it's been so cold, and we'll be fine offensively. We're just a little bit inexperienced and have to get settled down a little bit. We'll start swinging the bat. And our pitching staff all weekend did a really good job. Our starters did well. Our relievers threw well, and we we feel pretty good about where our pitching staff's going to be for the year. So.
Talk a little bit about how the cold affects it. I mean, everybody's dealing with the cold right now, but it's a brutal. I got up this morning, it was 15 degrees. You're supposed to practice and everything out here. It's 32, 33 degrees right now. How does that affect the players when they have to go out for practice or games?
It's just really hard to be consistent because one day you might be outside taking ground balls, taking batting practice, and the next day you might just be able to get out there for a half hour and that's all you can stand it. So we go out and stretch and throw. Yesterday, for example, we had 13 bullpens to throw, so our indoor facility was completely full of pitchers yesterday. We actually had the position players come out and stretch and throw. Then they went home, went to the dorms, whatever, did homework, whatever they do, played video games. And we had hitting groups last night from 8 to 9:30. So the hitters had to come back last night and get in the cage and take some hacks. So,
it's great that you have that facility at least.
It is, absolutely. I mean, it helps us out a tremendous amount, and it's right here in our stadium and close by and all that good stuff. But, today will be a different day. We have 6 or 8 pitchers that need to throw, so it's not like you're hitting at the same time, you're throwing, you're getting to do things on a regular basis. It's very choppy, and it's going to be that way for a while, and things will smooth out and we'll get back into our routine.
So Mother Nature decides to cooperate with us a little bit better and everything. So, well, listen, talking a little bit about the schedule of things. I know we had 2 games scheduled for Saturday, Southern Virginia here, 1 game scheduled for Sunday with Stevenson University. Talk a little bit about what are we doing with those games?
Saturday's supposed to be brutally cold everywhere. I think they're calling for a high of 19 and feels like 5 degrees. So We've taken the Saturday series. It's supposed to be a doubleheader. We've made it a single game. We're going to play 1 game tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, which is Friday.
Okay.
And then we'll cancel the Sunday games.
Sunday games. Supposed to be some more poor weather. I understand coming after that Monday and Tuesday. I think I saw the possible snow or ice or something like that.
Beautiful thing to live in Ferrum, Virginia. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's talk a little bit about next week then. After we get through that, whatever mess is coming on Monday and Tuesday, you're going down to Atlanta. You're playing against one of the best teams in the country, Emory University, a 3-game series. Talk a little bit about what you're hoping out of that trip, other than wins.
Hopefully we'll get some warm weather to play in. That'll be nice. Really a great evaluator for our team when we go down there next weekend. And we aspire to be and will be at some point one of the top teams in the country. And that's always a goal at Ferrum College. It's always a standard that Coach Naff and all the guys that play junior college baseball here set for this program, and it'll never change.
Sure.
And so right now, Emory University over the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years has been the standard in the South region. So
sure.
We're going to go down there and size ourselves up with those guys. It'll be exciting. Our guys will be excited to go down and play and see what they can do against one of the best teams in the country.
Well, hopefully 6 hours south of us, they'll be getting better weather down there.
It's supposed to be 68.
We'll talk a little bit more about that next week when we come back for the show and everything. So, well, listen, Coach, I really appreciate you coming back on the show this week. So, folks, if you're interested in seeing some baseball, Ferrum is playing against Southern Virginia Friday the 12th, 4 p.m. right here at Panther Field. Come on out, watch some great college baseball. And other than that, that's a wrap, and we'll see you next week.